Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kristen and today I want to try something new. I went onto flexiblenib.com and purchased some housings for sailor nibs. One is a Bock housing and one is a Yovo nib housing. I want to try it with a Bock nib housing. So here is the housing for a sailor nib and feed to go into a Bock fountain pen. Here is the sailor nib that I will be using. So this is a standard black sailor pro gear, the full size. I got a medium nib on this one. Does it have a converter? It would be nice, but it does not have a converter. Get that out of the way. So I will be harvesting the nib from this fountain pen to put it into this housing, and then I will put that nib unit into this lovely, lovely fountain pen. One of the fountain pens that I purchased from a vendor at the 2023 San Francisco Pen Show. This is a Bock steel nib, and I've just been very unhappy with the Bock nib for the longest time, but I've wanted to use this pen every time I look at it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful fountain pen. I purchased this wood fountain pen from Brute Force Designs. It is a Spalted Maple, and I will be using this nib unit on this fountain pen, which takes Bock nibs. This is a little rubber grippy thing that I'm going to use to grab the nib and feed from the pen. I purchased this from Goulet Pens a while ago. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so I am on the flexiblenib.com website. Before removing the nib and feed, note the position of the nib in the section. Okay, so the top of this feed, the little shoulders of the feed, basically intersect with the edges of the nib. So just making sure that these are placed, that these are aligned properly. And I want to see how deeply this nib is seated within the housing on the sailor. You will want to have the nib and feed fit similarly in the Bock housing. So let's see, take a look at how deeply this nib and feed are seated in the pen. Okay, so grab the nib and feed at the base only, keeping your fingers off the tines and the tip of the nib. So pull them straight out of the pen. Do not twist. Do not twist. So just pull them straight out as the sailor pen's section is keyed. Okay. If the nib and feed can't easily be removed, soak the nib and feed in a dilute household ammonia solution for a few hours. I don't have a diluted household ammonia solution. Okay. So let's hope this works. Which way do I need to grab this? Or I need to grip it that way, or do I grip it this way? Yes! It worked! Okay. This is my first ever. This is the first time I have ever taken a nib and feed out of a sailor fountain pen. Oh my gosh. Okay, so looking at that. Oh, okay. So is this keyed? That is keyed right there. That's good to know. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so both of these items, the nib and the feed, are going to go into this housing. So this B is for the Bock housing, and this is the Bock housing that will accept sailor cartridges and converters. So I pulled it out, straight out. To install the sailor nib and feed into the housing, place the sailor nib on the feed. Note that the feed has an inlay. Okay, and the nib is inside this inlay. Position the nib so that it fits securely and snugly on top of the feed without twisting, and keeping your fingers only on the base of the nib and feed. Okay, keep it away from the edge, from the tip of the nib. Okay, so this is where I am. I'm not touching the tip of the nib or the feed. Insert the nib and feed fully into the housing. Unlike the sailor pen, the housing is not keyed. The markings on the nib should be aligned as they were when the nib and feed were installed in your sailor pen's section. Screw this assembly into your pen. Do not over tighten. Fill your pen with ink and enjoy. Okay, so this is not keyed, so it will go in here in any orientation. Goodness, oh goodness. Okay. Jeez. Okay. There it is. That's it. Oh, that was easy. Okay. Let me make sure. That's it. I think I did it. I did it. It's in there, y'all. I got a sailor nib and a sailor feed on the Bock housing. And so the final test is to see if this actually fits or screws into. I did like a quick test before I actually took any of these things apart to make sure this actual collar would fit in a Bock fountain pen, and it did. But now that there is a nib and feed in here, I want to make sure this fits into my Bock fountain pen. Let's take a look. Oh, 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 wait. Okay, this is supposed to fit a sailor. A sailor converter. So I'm gonna need to grab a sailor converter. But let's screw this into the section first. So I'm gonna unscrew this one. This is my Bock nib unit. I'm gonna put this off to the side and screw in my sailor nib into the Bock section. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I mean, it doesn't look as substantial as the Bock nib, but it's in there. It's in there. And I now have a sailor nib on my brute force design fountain pen. Look at that. It looks small, but look at it. Okay. Okay. It screws in easily, and it definitely won't hit anything because it's shorter than this Bock nib. Oh, that looks good. So now I have a sailor medium nib. It does look a bit small and overpowered by the size of the rest of the pen, but we're gonna have to see what it looks and, you know, how it feels when I actually start writing with it. I'm gonna put this in here for now. I'll sit this converter off to the side. I'm gonna close that up and sit that off to the side as well. And now I need to find a sailor converter to go in this fountain pen. Okay, so I have an abundance of these little white converters. There it is. Please work. Yes, that fits. This fits. It all fits. Now I have a sailor nibbed brute force design fountain pen. Let's get some ink because I want to know what this feels like right now. Not getting any of those. I do like my grungy greens, but I've been using those a lot lately. So what else can I use? I don't want to blow. I don't want to blow. I could do like a purple. Sakura. Kitty Beezy brown pink would be a nice one. Kitten paws. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I think I'll do Kitty Beezy brown pink. I'm gonna grab this ink. It is a deep, deep purple, warm berry purple color. Okay, now that I've inked up this new fountain pen, let's test it out. This top sheet of paper is Tomoe River paper, and the second sheet is Airful paper. These are my two favorites to use when testing out fountain pens and inks. Oh my gosh, I'm smiling. Oh my gosh. Wow. Spalted Maple. And this is a Sailor 21 karat medium nib. Oh my gosh. I love this. I love it already. The ink is KWZ brown pink, and it's got that slightly architect feel to the nib that I just love with sailors. And it's got a unique feedback as well. It still has that sailor feedback, but the material of this pen kind of muffles it a little bit, and so it just feels a bit softer, a little less on edge, I guess is the best way that I can explain it to you. Oh my gosh. Oh, it feels rich here. I love this. This is beautiful. Oh my gosh. And I love the combination of this pen and ink color. So look at that. That looks really good. And I like the choice. Yeah, I like that. This pen, oh, it was a success. This was a success. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that this worked. This was a writing experience that I was hoping for with this fountain pen. I love the pen. I love the feel of the section. It just feels so nice. I can still feel the threads here, but they don't feel slicey. And this is a very abrupt step down from the barrel to the section, or from the barrel to the threads. But that's not where my fingers are resting. My fingers are actually resting a little bit forward, away from that drop down, that step down. And so it feels so good. And the feeling of this pen, ink, nib, all of this, all of the above just feels so good that I don't even care that it kind of looks like a tiny nib on this pen. It just feels so good. I like it. It was a success. I'm glad that I went ahead and purchased the Yovo one as well. So this is a Yovo collar for the Sailor 21 karat gold nib with compatibility for a Sailor cartridge or converter. So I'm glad that I have this. I'm probably going to try it in, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I want to put this in one of my Franklin Crystal fountain pens, but that would mean I'd have to remove one of the beautiful grinds that I have on one of those pens. I don't think I'll put this one on a Franklin Crystal fountain pen, even though it will work beautifully there. I just have some wonderful grinds on each one of my Franklin Crystal fountain pens. So I would have to take a look around my fountain pen collection to see which of the Yovo compatible fountain pens I would love to use on this one. So I don't have a second Sailor at this point to harvest a nib, but I just wanted to have this in my collection so that it would be ready whenever I was ready to make the decision to swap out a nib. But so far, it is a big success. I am really happy with this. I hope you enjoyed this nib swapping project adventure. It makes me happy. And I am ready to use this pen. I'm so excited about this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have done this before, let me know. What has your experience been with swapping out nibs? If you've done it with Sailor nibs, or if you've done it with Pilot or others. Flexible Nib has housings for other fountain pen nibs as well. So I would encourage you to check out their website, flexiblenib.com. This is not a sponsored video. I just wanted to share with you one of the new things that I've discovered in this fountain pen hobby. So not very often I get to have a new experience like this. And so I just wanted to share it with you, and let me know if you've done this before or if you're interested in doing something like this. It's not as difficult and scary as I thought that it would be, but it was highly rewarding. So I'm glad that I did it. And thank you again for joining me on this little journey. I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.